Hey YouTube, hi, it's Orlando here, and today I'd like to make a video about Turo and the different insurance plans that they offer, okay? Quick feedback on me. I'm a used car dealer. I've been one for 17 years. I retired last year. I still have my dealer's license, but I don't sell any cars or anything. And I had a little rental car business, and I put my cars on Turo, all my cars on Turo as of August of last year, okay? I've had anywhere from 8 to 12 cars, and I go up and down depending on what happens, and I'm not interested in having more because I'm retired. Like I said, I'm retired. I'm not trying to work more than I used to. Okay, well, let's talk about insurance plans. That's what I wanted to talk about real quick. Turo has 5 different insurance plans, and you got to choose which one's better for your situation. They actually have 6, but the 6th is the commercial insurance policy, which I actually qualify for, but I don't even like it because everything goes through my insurance. I have a commercial insurance for my cars, but I wouldn't be covered on anything. Turo will assist you and they will help you with certain things and maybe with certain claims, but it's all through your own insurance company. Okay, so I'd rather pay them a little bit, let them keep a little bit more percentage. I think they give you 92%. I think it's 92.5, either 90 or 92.5. They've changed that if you're on the commercial policy, but let's not talk about that policy. I'm a commercial account and I don't think it's good, so I'd rather be on the regular account because Turo takes care of me. I've had many incidents where Turo takes care of me, okay? So anyway, me personally, I went from the 80% plan. That's what I started with. I did have some losses, not horrible, but I'm a car guy, and I get dealer pricing and whatever, so I fix my own cars and do whatever. In December, I went to the 85% plan with all my cars. I took a higher risk because things were really slow and I was doing some tweaks, trying to get more money. And then in January, I had a Subaru pretty messed up. A guy ran over a floor jack. Really, I'll try to make my the stories quick. Guy ran over a floor, I don't know how, one of these giant floor jacks. He ran over it. He destroyed the car underneath, rack and pinion, subframe, motor mount, the front motor mount, the oil pan destroyed, the whole plastics, the cover, the shields for the rack and pinion. To make a long story short, Turo gave me $117 because it was $26.17 and I had a $2,500 deductible. So they gave me $117. So it cost me like, I bought everything used. I did it all myself. I even had to pull the motor. Not completely out, but I had to lift it with a cherry picker about a foot, about almost, I don't know, I'd say 10 or 12 inches. And it was a nightmare. But I did it myself. I did it for, including the cherry picker that I bought at Harbor Freight, probably spent like $900 or something like that. Maybe $1,000, including everything I needed. So I was losing at the time, but then I filed a supplement. I filed a supplement to Turo, said, hey, you guys didn't count this motor mount, and you guys also didn't count that I have to pull because when you change the subframe on the engine sits on the subframe on those Subarus. So you can't just pull the subframe because the engine and the transmission don't have a place to, So I had to you have to hoist it and then take the subframe out. And this is all on the floor, on floor jacks. I mean, with jack stands. I mean, it was creepers. It was pretty, and just me. So it was pretty big job, but I got it done. They paid me the supplement. At the end of the day, I made like $200 or $300 or something, but it was a nightmare. And if I had been on a better plan, they would have taken more money. Turo would have taken more money, but I would have ended up making $2,000-$3,000. Or you also got to think, would it have been worth it, me doing all the work, or just maybe I would have made no money because I would have just paid somebody else to do it. So, that's kind of a tricky situation. Would have it been better this way? Would have it been better this way? I mean, who knows? And plus you never know when you're going to have that loss. So you're taking these risks. In my case, I was taking the maximum risk. I was in the 85% plan. So, but it worked out. At the end of the day, it worked out. So then in February, I had another loss. It was a clutch. That one, I'm going to do a side note on this video. If you do have a manual transmission car, I'll never list one again on Turo. Their policy for clutches and stuff like that is prorated because they say that's an item of wear and tear. My specific case, it's undeniable that the lady just burned the hell out of my clutch. She didn't know how to drive. She admitted it. Turo charged her, and they blamed her. But I don't know if they charged her, to be honest with you. But she was at fault. But they didn't pay me because it's wear and tear. If the car is 5 years or older, mine had just turned 5 years this year. And if it's 75,000 miles or higher, you have to have proof that it was done at a factory place. Like this car's a Mini, so it had to be done at BMW, and it's X1 chassis. So you can't get this. It's not like the old Minis. I can just get a clutch and it was cheap. No, this was, even my cost, like the clutch and the pressure plate and the parts I needed, we're talking like $1,500. That's without labor. And I was thinking about doing it myself, and I'm like, I gotta spend all this money, and then I gotta do this myself. It's another nightmare like the Subaru. And I just took it to the auction. I haven't got rid of it, but it should sell. And and used car prices are through the roof, so I'll get my money back. But anyway, that was a nightmare. No more manual transmission cars. I don't recommend. My third, I lost my Elantra about a month and a half ago, which really sucks. I loved that car. That was my best car. Cheap car, quick return on investment. It was always out, making money. Those are the cars I recommend in my market. The cheaper cars. Decent, reliable, take care of it, change the oil, maintain it, and keep it out there, making money. I lost it. This guy, unfortunately, he was high on fentanyl. He wrecked my car, and then he was so high, he tried to steal like another car, and he said he thought it was my car, and whatever, who knows. Long story short, the guy's in jail. And but I did get, thankfully I got my, Turo paid me. They booked the car at 10-3, 10-2, I got the numbers around here somewhere, 10-2-84. I owned the car for 56.10. I ended up netting 21.74 because they took the $2,500 off. If not, I would have netted like $2,600. I like $4,600. So in that case, I was still happy, even with my high deductible. I still made money. And on a side note, I want to say when in other videos, cash versus finance. I know a lot of people talk about that for Turo. Should you buy the car cash? Should you buy it finance? I've seen a video out there. I used to love this lady. I kind of don't love her anymore. I don't even watch her videos no more. She's smart, but sometimes she drives me crazy. Where she's telling people that you can buy a car with no money down. Go buy it. Don't waste your money. Don't spend your money on a car. Go get it. No money down. First of all, I've been a dealer for 17 years. You can't get it. If you got a 700 score, you can. But if you're maybe a 650, maybe you can. But if you got a 500 score, don't listen to people telling you this stuff. Go get a car, no money down. You're not going to get it. You need to have skin in the game, period. I do this for a living. I've done it for a long time. I work with all the banks. I used to. They will, you got a 500 score, 550, 520, or 4 something, believe me, you better have a decent down payment. So anyway, sorry that I changed the subject on that, but cash versus finance, if this car would have been financed, guess who gets this check? I don't get it. My bank gets it. And then maybe if there's something left over, then I get it. Or I still owe them, if I still owe more than I own it for. So this is a good example of why I advocate, at least in my case, and don't get me wrong, not everybody can go out and buy cars cash, and that's fine. But I do advocate you trying to pay that sucker off and getting that gorilla off your back as fast as you can. So when, God forbid, something like this happens, who's getting that check? Huh? It's all here. None of that, finally take it to the bank, see if did it pay off the loan? It didn't. Oh, I have gap insurance. Or if you don't have gap insurance, yeah, well, I'll make a payment plan because I still, and I even saw this one lady, as one of these same ladies that I'm talking about, there's a few of them out there, saying, hey, yeah, I had to pay at the end, I destroyed my Tesla or whatever, and in the end, I had to pay $3,000 because I owed more than it was. But you know what? But it doesn't matter because I rented that thing for like a year or whatever. I don't know how long she rented. And I made $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month on my Tesla. And so I made $20,000 or whatever. I'm just making numbers up right now. And so, if I made $20,000, who cares if I had to pay $3,000? Yeah, I'd rather say I made $20,000 and I got the whole check. And I made $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on the check or whatever. You know what I mean? That's better than saying, I'll take it out of my profit. I made all this money, so if I had to pay this much because it was financed, no, I own it. I don't have to pay nothing. You know what I mean? Give me that check. I'm buying another car or whatever. And I made money on this car. So after the Elantra, I decided to go with the 70% plan for a few reasons. One of them was that I had some medical issues that I had to deal with. I didn't want to, I didn't have the time to be messing with all this stuff and fixing the cars myself. I have some vacation plans and stuff. Anyway, I got some plans aside from Turo. And so what I did was I changed all my cars to 3-day rentals only. Like if you want a car, I made it actually, instead of making it easier like I did in my other video, I was hustling because things were slow. I made it harder. I'm like, if you want to rent from me, it better be 3 days or more. And it was working because Turo right now is on fire. Turo is like super hot. Everybody's selling, renting. It's crazy. So I did it and I still rented all my cars out. And then after I lost the Sonata, I said, man, if I would have had my 20, you got to kind of weigh it too, because if you got 10 cars and you're making $10,000, well, no, let's say $8,000 a month with 10 cars. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but these are pretty accurate numbers. And you're making that's at the 85% rate divided by 0.85 times. That means you booked out $9,411 and you got to keep $8,500. But I'm sorry, what did I just say? 8,000. I'm sorry, you got to keep 8,000. Let's make it easy. Let's make it 10,000. You rented $10,000, you got $8,500 that month. So if you go down to the 70% plan, they're going to take 30% instead of 15%. So instead of $8,500, you're going to make $7,000. So you just lost $1,500. So you got to weigh when you do your exercises, just like I said in my first video, you got to weigh all this stuff. You got to use your calculator. You got to use your brain. You got to use experience. Like let's say you've been on Turo for a year. Okay, so how many losses have you had? Is your market crazy? You got a lot of crazy people totaling your cars, wrecking your cars, meth guys, high on fentanyl, blah, blah, whatever. Or do you have a good track record? Was it worth staying with the 85% plan, making that extra $1,500? Or that's in this case, but you can do it with one car, with 5 cars, with 6 cars, whatever. Was it worth making that extra money? And I went 6 months with no losses. In this case, $1,500 times 6, that's $9,000. Who cares if I have to pay a $2,500 deductible every month? So you gotta weigh all that. But in my case, first of all, I wanted to take it a little easy because I had to. And second of all, the market got so on fire in Turo that I said, you know what? I'm not going to lose money anyway. So what I did was I raised my prices. And now I'm at the $250 deductible plan with all my cars. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I might change it in the future. I'm not saying this is the best plan and I'm going to stay like this. But what I did was, for example, if I have a $50 a day car times 0.85, I was getting 85%. I was making $42.50, right? So that same car, I raised it $10. I went to $60 times 0.70. Now I'm only making 30%. It's still $42. So in my world, I'm like, you know what? Things are really, really hot right now. I think I can raise my price. I wasn't sure, and it might not work later on. I'm not saying the market's going to be like this forever. Who knows? And it might tank. But right now, so I went up a little bit. I said, you know, I want to make the same money. So now I got a $250 deductible. Yes, I'm giving Turo more money. They're taking 30% of my check. But I raised my delivery from 50 to 60 because I want to make the same money. I want to make the same money. If things get slow, obviously, then I'll go down a bit and I might play with my insurance plans again. So anyway, going back to my losses, 4 days ago, this guy, he's been renting for me since July of last year. And right now it's June. 11 months this guy's been renting for me. Straight. He was like the holy grail. I love this guy. And he wrecked my car. He totaled it. My Sonata. I had a 2015 Sonata Limited. Totaled out. And again, cash versus finance. I own that car outright. It's a $7,500 car in my books. And it's worth more than, it's newer and nicer than my Elantra. It's 2 years newer. It's limited and it's nice. It's a Sonata. It was actually a really nice car. Panoramic roof, lane change, whatever, radar, cruise, all this stuff that I didn't even know these Hyundais had. And the freaking thing, the Elantra was 10.3. This thing's probably gonna go 14. I don't know yet because I haven't got my check yet. But if it goes 14 and I own it for 75, you do the numbers. So I'm making real decent money. Why? Because I own it outright. And because I'm a dealer and blah, blah, blah. But if I wasn't, let's say I bought it for $9,000 instead of $7,500. Or, because when you got cash, you're king. You can get almost wholesale. So let's say I bought it for $9,000 and it goes 14, I'll still make $5,000. Why? Because it's my car. If I was paying on it, first of all, I wouldn't get the deal that you can get when you buy it cash. I would have bought it for 11 or 12, plus interest, plus this, plus that, and you gotta be careful. That's a whole different video on dealers, how they screw you. Okay, so that's another thing. I haven't got paid on this one yet. I don't know, but you know what? I'm super happy. They did call me and say, "Hey, why'd you change plans and then you wrecked?" I'm like, no. I changed a month and a half ago. Look at my records. I'm not here to screw people. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm serious about my business. Go look. I lost this car, then I had the clutch problem, then I had this car, and if you look at when I changed, it's when I lost the Elantra. And then I didn't change one car. I changed everything. Okay, so a month and a half later, I lose my Sonata. So I kind of lucked out on this one. I just saved $2,500 for my deductible. But again, those are the insurances. You got to analyze this on your own. You got to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what's better. In this case, I did great with the Sonata. I didn't do as good with the Elantra, but I still made money on it, so I'm not trying to complain. And the Subaru gave me hell, but at the end of the day, I didn't lose any money. But you got to weigh all this stuff. How many losses am I having? What's my risk? Is it worth it? Am I going to make more? Is the market super hot right now, or I can just go with where I'm paying Turo 30% or 40% or whatever, but I'll just raise my prices. Am I still going to rent, or my car's going to die and just sit there? Then I got to change my strategy. So you're constantly changing your strategy depending on your needs, your wants, the market, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, yeah, that's my story. One last piece of advice that I have. I haven't been following these people a lot. I like to watch and study Turo on YouTube and everywhere. I haven't watched them in a while, but about a few months ago, I saw that some of these people that I actually like and recommend sometimes, I don't recommend them anymore because they're like, selling like programs to help people, supposedly help people do Turo. Let me tell you right now, you don't need to buy a program. You don't need to buy some kind of online study guide. You don't need to be in a special Facebook group this is just common sense. Buy a car, don't buy a piece of junk, maintain it, and rent it. And that's it. And do your numbers. Always keep your calculator and use your brain. If you have a little bit of a brain and a little bit of common sense and you know numbers, there's no reason I've seen 2 or 3 of these people. Hey man, sign up for my master class on Turo, becoming a Turo master. No. That's how some of these people aren't even. There's one lady, there's a couple, but this one, she's not even, I don't think she's even successful on Turo, but she's successful making videos and selling master classes of, she knows everything. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Don't pay for that. Don't fall for that. Don't waste your hard-earned money on that. You have a decent car out there, or you can buy a decent car, and you want to try Turo, especially now. Now's the time. Put it on there. Do your math. Take care of it. Change the oil. Common sense things. Wash it. Keep it in shape. Take your pictures. Don't do stupid stuff. Take pictures before and after. Take pictures under the seats. Sometimes you won't see the ashes until you go under the seats. That's where they left their crack pipe. Or that's where they left their, whatever. Go and don't be too nice. Don't forgive everybody. You're in business. They don't care about you. They're nice to you. But when they come back and your car's smoked in, and your next customer is going to give you a 2-star because he hates the smokes or whatever. They're nice to you because they want to get away with it. Don't be, you know what? It's a business. Hey, man, I'm sorry. I got to charge you for smoking in my car. Anyway, just do common sense things and don't sign up for those stupid programs that people are trying to sell you out there. Okay? Take care, guys. Good luck, and I'll see you on the next one.